OG.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sinister.Forest here. Welcome back to my channel. Bring you guys another horror movie review, and I'm super excited after so long of not being able to see anything new in the theaters. A movie called Come Play finally came out on October 30th, and I actually saw it on Halloween night, which was really cool. I have been pretty slow about posting videos a lot. I have been super busy. I just got the dog training position at my work, and I'm super excited, but I've been training a lot. I've been working really hard with that. But yeah, now I'm back. I'm going to be making more videos. I have a couple more videos coming up. My Halloween video for Animal Crossing and the Crown Tundra video still under editing, but it's okay. Those will be posted. Anyway, I wanted to jump into the movie Come Play. If you guys have seen it, then awesome. Go ahead and watch this video. If you haven't seen it, there are going to be spoilers, so go ahead and click away if you don't want it to be ruined for you. So yeah, I'll give you a minute on that. Alright guys, so we're also going to be having some little help with my guest star Severus here, as you guys can see. He's just going to be chilling out here with us. The movie takes place following a family, and the little boy in the family named Oliver has autism. He also can't speak, so he has to have his phone or a special app on his phone so that he can touch the picture of the word and it speaks it for him. So that's his way of communicating. So it's automatically going to be really challenging to deal with not only that, but to have to deal with this crazy monster that's constantly coming after you. And Severus is trying to escape. The cool part about this that I really liked, that kind of connected the movie a little bit more to at least my generation, was that the little kid watched a lot of SpongeBob. And it kind of gets to me a little bit too with that whole thing, because watching SpongeBob is such like an innocent feeling. It's like, you know, you remember what it was like to be a kid, not have to have any worries or anything, coming home from school, turning on some SpongeBob, just kind of rewinding for your day. So I feel like SpongeBob is just one of those shows that's very calm and relaxing to watch, and it makes a lot of sense that he uses that to calm himself down. So when his parents, Sarah and Marty, start arguing or fighting, whatever they're or discussing something kind of loudly, he kind of drowns that sound out with SpongeBob, and that's really cool. So not only at home does he use his apps and stuff for his, to process his language, but at school he also uses the phone as well. And of course, kids being kids and, you know, downright mean and stupid all the time, decided that they were going to bully him. And bullies catch up to him. You know, they don't think it's fair because he gets to use his phone in class, even though there's a pretty good reason for that. But they end up tricking him into joining them in a field where no one else was around, and they bullied him, they made fun of him, and they threw his phone, which was his only means of communication, into this tangled field where it was almost hopeless to try and find the phone. So that was kind of, that was the first thing to me that really stood out, because it left him, a boy that can't speak, alone in a field, whimpering and kind of like screaming for help, but couldn't ask for any help. And that kind of gives the viewer, in my opinion, that sense of hopelessness. Like, you want to help him, you want to try and, you know, give him a hand or take him back to his parents, but you can't because you're not in the movie. So it's a very strange feeling of helplessness that you feel as the viewer that I think that they actually did a really good job on. So on the phone that Oliver used to have, and the new iPad that his dad ends up bringing from work, which he finds in a lost and found box, there keeps appearing an app on those devices called Misunderstood Monsters. Misunderstood Monsters talks about the monster Larry and how he is this tall, skinny, lanky character or creature who just wants a friend, and he's different. No one wants to be his friend, and I feel like Oliver being as different as he is, and everyone's teasing him, he kind of relates to it a little bit more, but doesn't really realize that Larry is bad news. It appears as though Larry can see Oliver through the screen, because several times the POV of the camera as the viewer, it looks like it's coming from within the phone or within the screen and looking out at Oliver. So it appears as though he is able to see out of phone screens or device screens. So as you read Larry's story, it gets more visual and it gets more creepy as you go along. Like Larry can see you staring back from the phone, and he saw you, or will you be Larry's friend? Just take Larry's hand and he'll take you back to his world, and you'll never be heard from again. Things like, if anyone gets in Larry's way of getting that new friend, they will meet their end, like they'll perish. And then the whole goal that Larry's trying to do is get to the end of the story, to finish the story, because I feel like at that point he becomes like his full power and he can kind of do whatever he wants. So in my opinion, Come Play kind of has like a Stranger Things kind of feel to it. So Larry, it's almost as if he's all around us, but we can't see him because he's on a different plane than we are. So similar to like the Upside Down. That's just my opinion. You find Oliver kind of reading through the story, and as he's kind of like reading it in his head and stuff like that, the lights flicker, they change, like things happen with electricity. So when they're trying to read the story throughout the movie, anytime that they are reading the story, lights flicker, or they just completely short out or blow up the bulb. Like it's something that has to do with electricity. Wherever electricity is, Larry can go. So after the field incident with the bullies, Sarah, which is Oliver's mom, takes him to like a speech therapist, and the therapist recommends Oliver to have more normal interactions, more normal social interactions with other kids, which it would be fine, but Sarah kind of planned an entire sleepover with none other than the kids that bullied Oliver in the beginning. So not a good idea, but Oliver can't really say, hey, those are the ones that bullied me. But they end up having to sleep over anyway. They kind of tease him throughout the whole sleepover, and he keeps staring at the under the stairs closet, which that's where he hid the iPad from his dad, because the instances where Larry kind of freaks him out. So they're kind of like curious, like, oh, what are you like laughing, or like, what are you scared about? Like, what's under the stairs? And they go under the stairs, they find the iPad, and they read the horrors of Larry. And at first, they're just like, yeah, whatever, it's just a scary story. Then the lights start flickering. Then they're just like, nothing's real. Once they get to a certain point, Oliver takes the iPad and kind of goes like this with the camera, and is actually able to see Larry in the kitchen via that camera. So the kids start to see it too, and they're like, oh, that's weird, that's so weird. Byron, which used to be Oliver's friend way back in the day, actually goes over to where Larry was, and it's like, see you guys, like there's nothing here, and actually gets pinned by that table. All the kids get freaked out, parents get called, sleepover's over. Once Marty and Sarah, which are Oliver's parents, once they figure out the horrors of Larry as well, and they start to see things for themselves, and they realize, hey, this isn't just a story, they break the iPad that had the Misunderstood Monsters app on it. They break it with hammers in front of Oliver, and Larry, let's just say he gets pissed off. Okay, so when Marty is at work, he works in like a toll booth for a parking lot, and he's working in there, and the lights slowly flicker off. So that's how you know Larry is near. He tries to escape. He actually does manage to escape in his car, and he's driving, but as he's driving in the rearview mirror, all of the street lights really fast are just turning off, so he doesn't stand a chance. With his phone camera, he looks all around, he sees that it's in the back of the truck and everything else, and it's really scary. The scenes are really scary. And then he kind of freaks out and then like goes like this with the phone. Larry is actually in his passenger seat, just kind of chilling, like, what's up? And then decides to attack him. So Marty doesn't die, but he gets critically injured. Like, he is in the hospital injured. So after Sarah learns about that information, they kind of want to get out of the house. They want to get to safety. They want to get rid of all electronics. They don't want to be around the house anymore because, horror movie cliches, like something happens, they think it's the house. I don't know why that is. So they start packing up. Sarah says no screens. Oliver ends up taking some kind of screen with him anyway. Every screen in the house starts playing Larry's story, and it goes all the way until the end of the story, until it says the end. Now, at this point, I feel like Larry kind of got most of his power, right? So he was able to manifest in the real world or whatever. And they began panicking, and Sarah threw every last screen outside. The only problem is that even unplugged and all outside, Larry still emerges from those screens, and he's able to pursue them through the house. And they end up getting all the way upstairs under the bed, and then while Larry's walking around, so like that, Oliver starts to notice, like, he's kind of powered by electricity. So let's go to a place that doesn't have electricity, and goes to that field that he was once bullied in. Now, at that point, he finally says his first word. He says field, right? And he says it repeatedly. Now, after he says that, guess who finds him? Larry. And Larry finally shows like his ugly face, like really up close, and it is a really scary scene. It scared the audience really bad, especially in theater with that surround sound. It's really powerful. So Larry's pursuing them. He's running after them. They finally get to the field, and they see all the lights around the field kind of like reacting badly and stuff. So he's there. And then it seems to calm down for a minute because there's no electricity, no Larry, which is really good thinking on Oliver's part. The only problem with that is that the phone that the bullies threw still wasn't retrieved. So Larry was still able to get to them into the field from that phone, that passage, that portal, whatever you want to call it. So then he pursues them through the field. Sarah and Oliver ends up getting kind of separated a little bit. Larry finds Oliver, and Oliver starts to come to grips with reality that Larry won't stop pursuing anybody until he gets a friend. So when Larry is outreaching his hand to try and take him, Oliver slowly reaches his hand up to try and go with him because he wants it to be over. And Sarah grabs Larry's hand before Oliver's had a chance to come into contact. So, long story short, very, very bittersweet. She says that she loves him. Oliver looks at her, and that's been a struggle throughout the whole movie. Like, he had a hard time making eye contact with her. He finally made eye contact with her, and she said she loved him, and he kind of whimpered, and it was very, very bittersweet, very sad. And then her face went from like a smile to like this broken, cracked, like hideous image, which actually was very kind of intimidating. And Larry took her, and Oliver whimpered and tried to run after her, and it was too late. So after that all happens, Marty is released from the hospital. He's able to come home and be with Oliver. He keeps taking him to the speech therapist, which he is learning more and more speech. He says like, "Mom loves me," and he keeps practicing with them. And so Marty's being the dad that Sarah wanted him to be, instead of absent feeling. After it shows the speech therapy thing and it shows Marty trying to care a little bit more for Oliver. Later that night, Oliver hears a noise downstairs. He goes to investigate, and instead of being something scary, it makes it even more bittersweet because Marty panics. He comes downstairs. He, tries to find whatever it is on his phone, and it's actually the ghost of Sarah dancing with Oliver. So Oliver just appears to be kind of spinning, and then he kind of levitates, and it freaks him out. So he wants to know what that is. And yeah. And Sarah says, like, "I will always protect you." And that's how it ends. So all in all, overall, it's a different kind of a scary movie. Not because of like the jump scares, because we've seen that before. It's nothing new. But the storyline was decent for a scary movie. Like I said, it definitely leaves you with that sense of helplessness. Like, you don't know how to help Oliver, but you want to. You also kind of feel bad for the Larry character because he's different and he just wants a friend. It's not his fault that he's more terrifying than Mormon missionaries. So talking about the jump scares a little more, they were kind of too much. Like, you kind of expected them a little bit, but they were still effective. It was the weirdest thing. Like, you're just like, oh, I know something's coming. I know something's coming. Oh, geez. It still gets you, and it's still effective, and that's what I really, really like. I love that they use SpongeBob for the calming and the relaxing of him, because, you know, it is a calming, relaxing, funny show. And, you know, as a kid, without a care in the world, that's what you're watching. It's definitely worth that visit to the movie theater, in my opinion, because I feel like out of the movie theater, it's going to kind of lose some of those effects of being like super loud and like just kind of keeping you on the edge of your seat. I feel like you'll lose a little bit more interest at home on the DVDs. So I would definitely give AMC a visit. Wear your mask, basic safety protocols. You have to wear it in and out of the lobby. When you're eating and stuff inside the theaters, obviously you can take it off, but, you know, just stay safe with that whole thing. Yeah, definitely give it a try. I really do recommend the movie. It has an oddly satisfying storyline, and it's kind of different from like slashers and regular paranormal. It's its own phenomenon in itself, and that's what really stood out to me. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Me and Severus had a really good time, even though he was crawling all over my hands and trying to jump off my chair. It was really fun to make the video. I hope you guys had an awesome Halloween. I hope you guys stay safe out there. If you guys want to watch the movie, leave a comment as to why it looks interesting to you. If you didn't like the movie, leave a comment. Let me know why you didn't, so I can kind of like reflect on that a little bit. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever you guys got to do. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the Dancing Clown.